What if we lived to witness the discovery of extraterrestrial intelligence? Would it be a historic event in the true sense of the word? Or an unconfirmed suspicion leaving us in perpetual uncertainty? An unlikely scenario. Let us imagine the following sequence of events. Midnight has just passed, and a chill has settled over the Hat Creek area in Northern California. The sky is exceptionally clear, and the forests are quiet. The row of radio receivers of the Allen Telescope Array stands motionless on bared ground, its circular dishes staring upward. In a moment, a turning point in our history will arrive. Several devices will pick up a distinct, narrowband signal with a slight drift approaching a frequency of 1420 MHz. The source likely originates somewhere in the direction of the constellation Sagittarius. In the past 5 decades, this is the second time a human being has recorded a similar signal at the same frequency from this region. The first time, in 1977, was the briefly captured WOW signal, detected by the Big Ear antenna in Delaware. This time, the signal does not cease, and within days, its presence is independently confirmed by other receivers around the world and the scientific teams operating them. The transmission appears to be a structured message. A recording with detailed data reaches a team of experts from the SETI Post-Detection Science and Technology Task Force, a group that has collaborated loosely with the United Nations for more than half a century, created precisely for moments like this. Senior government officials are notified. They deliver statements that are both reassuring and measured, and coordinate their public appearances at press conferences alongside scientists. The media do not fuel speculation, but diligently verify their reports and give the floor to voices with demonstrable expertise. Social networks, for once, do not amplify extreme opinions to drive user engagement. Politicians, journalists, and the scientific community work in close collaboration, with no one trying to seize all the attention for themselves. The first broadly interdisciplinary expert teams attempt to determine whether the received signal contains an entire message or at least part of one. Society begins to be gripped by the conviction that we are not alone in the universe. Cautious optimism prevails, and the willingness for multilateral cooperation grows among nations. Followers of the world's major religions eagerly dust off those interpretations of their own traditions that speak in favor of the existence of other worlds in our universe. Crime rates fall across continents, and humanity suddenly seems united and solidary, discovering a new horizon of hope. Old scientific speculations about what contact with extraterrestrials might bring are revived. Membership in an interstellar club or a community of intelligence, technological advancement, lasting peace, longevity, or even immortality? We probably all sense that such a scenario seems unlikely, even though it contains familiar scientific estimates and aspirations from the field of extraterrestrial intelligence research. Too many variables are in play, and any one of them could dramatically derail that smooth course of events. The UFO folklore narrative inspires even less confidence. It is 1977, and astronomer Joseph Allen Hynek, live on radio, is urging listeners to share their strange experiences so he can add them to the database. Several people call in to describe their unusual observations. Some are almost unstoppable in their vivid storytelling. Most of the scenes evoked carry a sense of mystery. Strange lights, glows, floating objects. The well-known scientist admits on air that he is a skeptic. Yet he also believes that within the overall body of unexplained observations, something promising may be concealed. It was he who classified close encounters into categories, the most famous of which remains the third kind. Largely thanks to Steven Spielberg's film about UFOs and Contact with Extraterrestrials, in which Hynek himself played a small role. Although it was not the goal of his effort, his collection of reports forms an exemplary testament to UFO folklore, which today encompasses an entire mosaic of alleged evidence for extraterrestrial entities. Sophisticated crop circles, cattle bodies mutilated with surgical precision, human abductions by spacecraft, unidentified flying objects near military bases, governments concealing ownership of flying saucer wreckage, and so on. According to many proponents of these hypotheses, knowledge of extraterrestrial intelligence has long existed, and doubt is rarely entertained. Arguments commonly circulate that these unknown beings come to spiritually elevate, protect, or warn us. If we follow these lines of thought to their logical conclusion, as some filmmakers or writers have done, we find that they frequently lead, at least as a fantasy, toward a climactic moment in which extraterrestrials manifest their presence so visibly that no one, including scientists, can remain in doubt. The catch is that to this day, the vast majority of ufological episodes rest on nothing more than eyewitness testimony. Observations captured by technology, photographs, video recordings, radar data are far rarer, and serious questions hang over their evidentiary quality. The silence that demands event's context. Despite the scenarios mentioned above, which have found use in the science fiction genre countless times, extraterrestrial intelligence appears for now to be silent. The historian Diarmaid MacCulloch rightly points out that silence always occurs within a context. Let us apply his observation to the question of extraterrestrial intelligence. Since we still do not know the context, the number of hypothetical interpretations of that silence remains uncountable. Perhaps we are entirely alone in the cosmos, as suggested, among other things, by the so-called misanthropic principle. If we assume extraterrestrial intelligence of organic origin, we should also consider the voices of those who believe that the emergence of life is an exceedingly improbable accident. After all, a significant portion of humanity holds that intelligent life was created by supernatural means, and on Earth alone. Perhaps there are so few of us in the universe that we will never learn of one another's existence. Or perhaps a certain level of advancement leads other civilizations to self-destruction. And so, as physicist Paul Davies reflects, that silence may be a chilling portent of our own fate. What if our corner of the galaxy is a very dangerous place? It is difficult to rule out the possibility that many more advanced extraterrestrials remain silent because of the presence of cosmic predators. Much as animals move soundlessly through a forest to avoid becoming prey. The image of wilderness suits us well here. There are theories that liken our corner of the universe to a nature reserve that more advanced extraterrestrials deliberately leave alone to flourish. From their perspective, we represent a rare herd of bison deserving their own patch of land and undisturbed existence. What is more, the reality may be more mundane. When a considerate person walks through a forest, they generally act with care. They do not wish to disturb the animals, and they hold at least a basic respect for them. How do we know this is not a more general pattern of behavior adopted by other intelligent beings beyond our planet? No unambiguous breakthrough. Let us stay with the forest metaphor. Despite our best effort to prevent it, sooner or later, the permanent inhabitants of any given forest will come across a tin can, a tire, or a plastic bag, something like a technological signature of human presence. They have no idea, interest, or capacity to understand how the object was made or what it was used for, and the object itself stays silent. Today, some scientists report that products of an alien intelligence may be moving not far away in our own cosmic forest. A fairly serious candidate in their eyes has been the object Oumuamua, which displayed unusual properties. An elongated shape, an abnormal light reflectance, acceleration, and an improbably high entry velocity. Was it a foreign, perhaps already disused vessel with a solar sail, an ancient cosmic buoy, an abandoned probe? We should not forget that further anomalous objects followed, such as Borisov and Atlas. Be that as it may, we will probably never know the answer. Even if we could examine the object and conclude that someone manufactured it, it is far from certain that we would be able to draw a well-founded judgment from that. Let us therefore arrive at what we may seem at first glance a pessimistic conclusion. The discovery of extraterrestrial intelligence need not ultimately be a clear, long-remembered milestone in the history of humanity. Consider the following scenario for this possibility. During our lifetimes, only a handful of reports will reach us concerning phenomena that, with reasonable scientific seriousness, appear to be promising indicators of the presence of another intelligence in the universe. As has, in fact, already happened several times in the recent past. With the inadequate tools certainly available, however, nothing will be confirmed or refuted. Nothing will be fully celebrated or experienced with proper fanfare, due to the stubborn persistence of scientifically unresolved questions. In the foreseeable future, we will not achieve complete certainty about how things stand. Why is such a conclusion pessimistic only at first glance? Because especially in Europe, not least thanks to a rich tradition of narrative fiction, we have learned to accept ambiguity and live with it. The scientific world, too, has grown accustomed to the fact that our reality contains incompleteness, obscurity, and contradiction at many levels. And these ultimately become, for many, a stimulating source of inspiration for further inquiry. Perhaps the topic of a potential discovery of extraterrestrial intelligence will one day compel us to incorporate ambiguity even more deeply into our lived experience, and to perceive it more intensely as a valuable part of how we see the world.